Hi, I'm Lauren.
And I'm Christina.
And this is our podcast,
Let's Chew the Fat. Hello, and welcome to the new episode of the Let's Chew the Fat podcast.
Hi.
You know what I just realized?
What?
I don't know if we ever talked about our new logo and stuff.
We never did.
Well, we should address that really quick. So, if you've excuse me, if it's 9 a.m.
That's why, if you see me struggling.
That's why our voices might sound a little bit rusty, but
also I'm sick, so my voice is going to sound very nasally and annoying.
Well, it's, exam season. That's
We're
basically
just giving you the full atmosphere.
But we wanted to just quickly mention, or we should mention, our quote-unquote rebranding, because we wanted to update our logo for quite some time, to be honest, because we've had our logo since more than 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was the first step of our journey, and it was cute, and we loved it back then, but we felt like it was time to upgrade
We got a bit tired of it.
Yeah.
Because we spend a lot of time looking at it.
So that's why we have a new logo, and connected to that, we are making some changes. For example, if you're watching on YouTube, there's this like banner of the channel that we just have like a provisional one right now, and hopefully we'll work on it and finish that. Then we're gonna adjust the description of the podcast, right? What did we record the voice?
The description.
But we said something that was in the...
No, that was the description.
Because the thing. Okay. So yeah.
Just a lot of changes, because what else do you want to do during exam season,
And I would just like to formally address. Now, I want to thank my friend for doing the logo, because she put a lot of work into it, and I'm glad.
And we were very particular.
Yeah,
I guess.
Because I
feedback.
tried to design the logo myself, and it wasn't the greatest thing in the world. So then I think based on that, I don't even remember, she made this one with our suggestions. So we hope you like it. You can let us know on Instagram if you like the logo.
Only if you like it. If you don't like it, we don't want to hear about it, okay?
We also created a new Instagram account just for the podcast content. Like, we are gonna...
that might be confusing.
Yeah, now we have 2 Instagram accounts, because one is more general, dedicated to the whole experience of studying abroad and sharing what it's like to be a university student, living abroad, just trying to
document life.
Exactly. And then the podcast Instagram, which is called Let's Chew the Fat Podcast, is strictly for podcasts, because we're hoping to reach more people. And then if you're interested in seeing little clips from the episodes, there's way more on that account than the Two Friends one. So that's it. Just a quick little summary. And now let's do the weekly recap.
And for the main topic first, today we're going to talk about things that we like about ourselves or are proud of ourselves. I can't remember why we decided on this, but I think it was in the search of something a little more positive and uplifting, because I don't know, a lot of times, I don't know, this semester we've been good, but I feel like last semester we got into this thing of just talking about the
It's raining. Stuff. It wasn't supposed to rain.
Oh, why is it raining?
I think we came up with it even last semester or something. We've had this topic in the vault for a long time, and
in the vault.
now we went to use it.
Yeah, so that for later, and now for the recap. What happened? Christina.
It's just the whole mess and whirlwind, and I feel like I'm in a hurricane right now.
Oh, we are. A
hurricane of life.
Holding on by a thread.
No, because for us, at least, the exam season has started. We had one exam on Monday.
Yeah.
It was for the organization class, which, I feel like it went well.
I think so.
We studied a good amount. It wasn't horrible, because we were saying the difference with, for example, other classes in the past is that basically everything we were learning about made sense. And
which is big.
That is huge. And also another thing that we, I guess, maybe changed a little bit or did it our way was that we were, we have our learning style. We write down the notes on paper, then we read it through, and then we kind of ask each other questions. But this time we used our own words to explain things, because in the past I feel like we've really tried to memorize exactly how it's written in the notes or the slides, and now we're like, well, we just need to explain it. It doesn't have to be, there are no official definitions. And that helped a ton.
Definitely.
So maybe a little tip for you. I mean, unless you're studying law or something, I guess.
That's the thing. We were saying with some classes, it's just not possible.
Exactly.
But for this one, yeah. And it was also long form questions, which I feel like always helps me a lot, because we were thinking we probably didn't get all the points because he also wanted examples. Maybe he won't love the examples that we gave. Yeah. But I feel like we wrote down enough for him to see that we actually understood the theory, which should give us enough points.
And another thing, I guess, is that we knew answers to all of the questions.
Not pass.
No. Because sometimes, I mean, a lot of the times what happens is you get the test and then you go through the questions and you're like, oh my God, what is this? Oh, what is this? And I mean, usually in the end, we even still come up with at least something. But just the examples freaked me out a little bit because we were not prepared for that at all. We were really just studying the theory.
Or we do examples, but we would always do examples of small businesses, I feel because those were easier for us, and he wanted examples of the TV industry, and that's more complex. But
so we'll see how that went, but I feel pretty good.
Yeah, and it was on my birthday, which was nice,
Well, and then
so my birthday happened. I had the exam, so the first half of the day was pretty much designated to that. And then we had 3 hours of class too, which kind of killed me, not gonna lie. But in the evening we went to the center. After everybody's classes, we went to the center. We went to tierra. Well, half the people went. We did the classic pasta tierra combination. And that was super nice. And then, I wanted to get we had a lot of other plans.
But for we stopped. I mean, it was really nice, at least for me. I mean, I don't know if you loved it, but that we in the end stayed in the place and we were just talking and not about school stuff, which was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we took some pictures.
No, it was super nice. Even though the bubble tea place was closed. And then
the purse place was closed and the jewelry place was closed. We had a lot of plans. But because we had class until 7:30, and then one of our friends also had the exam, and she was one of the last ones because they had an oral one, and it was also delayed. So, I mean, it wasn't our fault necessarily.
Yeah. But it was super nice still. We had a good time. And it was it made the day special too, besides the first part of it.
And I went to the center for my traditional Christmas walk.
Oh, this is big.
It's huge. It was on Friday. Was it on Friday?
Yeah, I think so, right? Friday evening.
Well, it was the 24th of November, which is... or was supposed to be the day they light up
the lights.
Yes. And it was supposed to be from 7.
Wasn't it Thursday?
I don't know.
I read the 23rd, but maybe that's wrong.
No, I saw 24th
I put that into
everywhere.
My publicidad assignment. Okay.
But I wanted to see it lit up, the whole ceremony or whatever. But I came 2 minutes to 7 and everything was already turned on.
I'm telling you, because it happened on the 23rd.
But everywhere I specifically searched for stuff. I Googled it.
For this year?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I tried to be prepared. I wanted to go on the day of. It didn't work out, but I mean, then I was thinking, well, it just turns on. It's not that special.
Yeah,
I wanted
there's fireworks though, which is nice. Oh, sorry.
No. I saw it somewhere, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Well, next year I still have one more year, at least. But it was beautiful. It was gorgeous. I had the best time ever because when my mom and aunt were here the weekend before, they saw the lights prepare everywhere in the center. They were like, "Oh, I wish we would be here. It's gonna be beautiful," which kind of honestly surprised me because for some reason I wouldn't expect that from my mom. I don't know why. That she would be interested in seeing Christmas lights in the center. I don't know why.
Why
I really
not?
don't know why. But
They are beautiful here.
they're
We were
beautiful.
saying that.
And so I called both of them when I was in the center. I mean, my mom didn't pick up because she didn't see the call or something. But I talked to my aunt for like an hour. I saw my cousins because we were FaceTiming. And it was really fun. It was really nice. Honestly, I was just so happy. I was walking around just smiling. Like I put on some Christmas music because even when I was going to the center, I was like, not yet, not yet. And then once I saw the lights, I was like, it's time. And it was fun. I loved it. It made me so happy. And I did some Christmas gift shopping.
I was going to say, very successful.
Very, very, very successful. And it was not even planned, to be honest.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh.
So it was great. Now, let's dive into the things we love about ourselves and we are proud of. Now, this is not an episode where we want to brag or be obnoxious or anything, but I do genuinely feel like it's important to sometimes like stop and think about this because, like, for example, with studying abroad for me, I never stop and think like, wow, I'm so good for doing this. I'm proud of myself. I don't know. I just like
the whole Instagram trend of every once in a while, you just need to stop and look around and realize that this is where like 15-year-old you want it to be. You know, sometimes you need to.
Because I feel like we still focus on things that we quote unquote fail at or we're not as good at. And it just bothers me. I'm like, why? You know, and I think it's just at those times when my mom or my dad, they talk about it either in front of me or like in front of their friends. And like the way they speak about it, I'm like, oh, wow, I guess it is good, like what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes you need it from like an outsider's perspective.
Yeah.
And I also thought it was kind of nice because this was one of the questions that we asked our friends like in that episode. And I mean, we just asked them to answer these questions. We never answered it from ourselves. So like this can be like our little part of that too, I guess.
Yes. So go ahead.
Okay, literally. Okay, the thing is, it was quite interesting. I started writing stuff down. I was like, oh, I don't know anything. But then, like, once you get into it, you realize, no, there's things. Okay, so one thing I would say is that I can get, like, very excited about small things. Like, this is something I like about myself, not necessarily an accomplishment. But, like, it doesn't take a lot for me. Like, I can get insanely excited about, like, summer coming. I can get insanely excited about a new song being released. I can get insanely excited about my coffee on the way home, you know, like stuff like that. And I really love that, like, about myself. I don't know. I feel like sometimes people are like, well, I don't know. I feel like it can be like looked down on.
Yeah.
But me personally, it's made my life a lot better. So I really like that about myself.
I mean, first of all, I also wanted to say that I feel like like when I was thinking about it at first, I was thinking like it's weird to like something about who you are because that's just who you are. But then like why would you not like that?
Yeah.
But then I was thinking that's actually a wow moment because when I was younger, I maybe didn't necessarily love myself or like my body specifically, you know? And we are at a place like it's not like there are people who don't love themselves. And I mean, it's sad. And like, I would hope for everyone to this. I thought I would be able to explain this way better, but basically it's just nice to think like that because I feel like that kind of proves that we grew.
Of course. And everybody has like things they're good at or like good things about them and the things they need to work on. And I feel like we tend to focus on the things we need to work on. So like just as much as we acknowledge like those things, I feel like you should acknowledge the things that you love about yourself.
So the first thing that I thought of when I was thinking like what I like about myself is determination.
Oh, I was trying to think about, I couldn't think of that word.
Because once I set my mind or heart or on something, I am determined to get it. And sometimes, I mean, to be fair, it's not the best thing. Like with relationships or that, I'm like, even if it's, I go too far. But otherwise, I feel like in life, like it's a great thing to have. And even in a way where, like we've always talked about it in our family, where somebody has it, somebody doesn't have it. And it's like the drive, I guess,
Yeah.
to finish things, because a lot of people start some projects, they start some things, activities, whatever, but they don't finish it. And I almost always do. But then, for example, my book thing, like I want to write a book. I want to be an author. But I feel like that it frustrates me even more just because I know I haven't finished it.
Yeah.
And so like I have to, because I like care about this characteristic or feature, and so I want to like stand by that, especially like with myself. If I preach something, I should do it myself.
Yeah.
So
Excuse me. I'm trying really hard to breathe because I can breathe through my nose, but I don't want everybody to just be hearing me breathing out of my mouth. I feel like connected to that one. I was also going to say that with that one, I feel like sometimes I take it too far too, because like I can't quit. Like the example that I always
like with
give.
a book, for
like
example,
with a
I
book.
can't quit even if I don't like it. I have to finish it.
Or like even with like hobbies, like I throughout my entire childhood would start doing hobbies and I wouldn't enjoy them, but I did them for 5 years because I was like, well, I started, I need to see this through. Like karate, gymnastics, all of it. I suffered, but I did it for like 3 years, 5 years. So I mean, sometimes it's a bit, but in general, I think it's a good thing. And connected to that, I didn't know how to formulate it because I couldn't think of the word determination, but I think I'm good at like trying to like make my dreams reality and like chase my dreams, and I guess that's connected to that. Like if I want to do something, I will try to do it. I won't like be like, oh, it's too difficult, oh, like it scares me too much. And I think that's kind of what I did with the study abroad thingy. Like part of me really did think I would never like succeed in doing it because it seemed like this very like abstract idea. But I still couldn't let it go without at least giving it a try. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I like that about myself. Like I'm not necessarily scared to risk things for the greater good, for the potential greater good.
Yeah. I mean, I also have one kind of connected to that with the determination that, I mean, you set the example that like you would take up a hobby and you would see it through just because you were like, I have to. And so with that, I love, I mean, I wrote down proud of standing up for myself. And this is more like I have more things to say about that. Like in the sense of course, like standing up for myself is somebody, I don't know, would be mean to me or there would be some injustice towards me. Like I will go and I will fight for myself and then for my friends as well. Sometimes I feel like I fight for my friends and family even more. Like something inside of me just like enrages and they're like, I have to like fix this. I need to fight for them. And then like another thing is, I guess that I've learned to like if I don't like something or I mean I feel like I talked about that in my interview in the last episode or no, the 2 episodes ago or something like that.
Somewhere there.
That if I don't want to do something, I'll say so. Like I will express my emotions, my feelings, and I won't do...
Never related to anything less than this whole thing.
No, I think it's just, I don't know how to explain. I don't want to say the opposite of people pleaser because I feel like that would be maybe a little bit negative. But like, I'm not a people pleaser because this is really difficult.
You're just not a people pleaser. Maybe you're not the opposite of it. But you're not going to do something that you really don't want to do just because somebody wants you to like, do it. Unless it's like a big deal, like a huge deal for the other person maybe.
Yeah. I will not be like forced or manipulated or whatever into things because I know what's important to me. I know what I need and I will like stand by that and stand up for myself in that
Yeah.
way. Sorry, I hope I explained
No,
it
that made sense.
well.
That made sense. I have nothing connected to that. But let me see. Oh, I think maybe another one is that I care a lot, which can be bad. But we're not going to focus on the bad part. We're going to focus on the good part. Because I really like that. I feel like I care a lot about everything that I put energy into. Like if I put energy into work, like I want to do a good job. If I put energy into university, the podcast, everything, I care a lot about every little like project, quote unquote, that I have in my life. And I care a lot about other people. Also what they think of me, but that's not important. But I care a lot about other people and their well-being, and I care a lot about like life and what I do with my life. Like I overthink things. It keeps going into the negative. No, what I'm trying to say is like I care a lot about every little detail of my life to the point where like I want to work on it to make it the best possible, to like take all of the little parts of life and turn it into like the best possible life. Meaning I care a lot about even small things like my daily routine, and I think a lot about what I put my energy into and what would possibly be like an unnecessary thing to put my energy into. I just care a lot.
Yeah.
It's difficult to explain these things.
I know. Because it's like abstract. And I feel like since it's so specific to us.
It makes sense in our brain.
Yeah.
But then, yeah. I would also like to say, I feel like I look incredibly sick in the camera here. Don't worry, I'm not that sick, okay? I just didn't sleep much because I can't fall asleep. But
I couldn't fall asleep
me
either.
neither.
It was the most, but you know.
Last night too. Last night I couldn't fall asleep either.
Yeah. I think I went to bed like even before 11, like 10:30, and then it was midnight and I couldn't fall asleep. But you know what I do, my stomach issues and stuff, I do think it's like anxiety and stuff.
It
because
is, for sure.
I was fine the whole day, and then as I went to bed and as I was thinking, my stomach hurt a little bit. The same thing in the morning, because again I woke up soon and I was like, I could sleep some more, but then my brain is just on fire.
I was dreaming about trying to find apartments in Sydney. I was going through Google in my dream.
It's just a
it
lot.
makes sense. It makes sense. We're all struggling. It's okay.
Yeah. But the good thing is, maybe I could mention this too, that I've learned to like work with it and I don't freak out. I'm like, okay, well, I can't fall asleep. Well, it doesn't, like me trying so hard to fall asleep and thinking about it won't help. Yeah. But I have like maybe a little tip, because every night I put on some like slow or calm or whatever music.
Or just very incredibly sad music.
And I just do it every night. I set it for like 45 minutes for me to like fall asleep. I started doing it here in Spain. But if I can't fall asleep, because with music, you're not really like focusing on it. It's just really in the background. So then if I see that I'm thinking too much and I can't fall asleep, I just put on some podcasts.
I was going to say, I've been doing that.
And because then you're kind of like focused on what they're saying, and it helps to shut your brain off. And then after I put it on, I fell asleep pretty fast, I think.
Yeah, because it kind of also gives you the comfort of just somebody talking in the background.
Yeah, my problem is just thinking too much. Yeah. Like I was thinking what's the word? I can't think of the word, but like so
in detail
hard and so
thoroughly.
I guess so. I don't know, but for a long time, I'm not surprised that my brain is tired at this point. No, because like I was lying in bed for an hour and a half, thinking about one thing that I can't say here because it's a secret. But you know, like it was difficult. But luckily, I learned to.
That's a good one. I didn't write that down, but I feel like I've gotten better at like self-soothing, I guess. Mm-hmm. Like I will spiral, but generally I will just be like, you know what, it's fine. It'll work out the way it needs to. Mm-hmm. Like with the classes. Yeah. I mean, you were laughing at me, but I was trying to enroll classes. No, not in a bad way. But like I was trying to enroll for classes in Sydney and it wasn't working. And all the classes were full. And I was just like sitting there and saying like out loud to myself, like, it's okay. It's okay. And I was genuinely doing that to just convince myself.
No, but I like if I saw you doing that in the first year, you would be falling apart. And now you were just like, I mean, this is not fun, but I mean, what can I do?
Exactly. So I feel like I've gotten a lot better at that. And sometimes all it takes is to literally say to yourself out loud, like, it's okay, in a calming voice.
I mean, if you can't do anything about it, like, you just laugh.
Exactly.
But and also I think it's because we've been through so much, like with the university stuff and Erasmus stuff lately, that we're just like, it's too much.
It is what it is. I was able to enroll though yesterday.
That's great.
See, it worked out.
But one thing came to my head now that we're talking about it, and it's like connected to mental health and me being like so open about it and always try to like identify with, sometimes again with health stuff, it's maybe a little bit negative, but like to identify things and to want to work it out or work on it, get better. Like when I was dealing with anxiety, panic attacks, whatever, I was like, it would be nice to talk to a therapist, which I know it's like such a privilege and not everyone can afford it or have access to it. I mean, me personally, I had, I think, a year of sessions, but it was like not every week or something. And since then I haven't had it either, because I was like, I mean, it does cost money.
Yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't have to be connected to it, just to be able, you can even talk to a friend or like family or just somebody.
Or yourself.
Yeah, even or yourself, write it down in the diary, but to like be aware of it and not try to push it aside.
Yeah. I came up with another one. But this is like, we'll see if it stays like this, but I've been very scared of like getting sick my entire life. And I feel like this semester I've been a lot better, right?
I mean,
Christina's like, no.
I don't know how to compare it.
Oh, that's true.
Well, I mean, you don't know all the thoughts.
Yeah. But I've been a lot better. Like, wouldn't like let myself spiral as much. I'd be like, well, look, there's a lot of people sick. You might get sick. You'll survive.
Yeah.
Or like, this person is sick. You're close to them. Like, I was able to like stop the spiraling, but that was only like in the past couple of months. So I'm proud of that one too.
And I already mentioned the word openness. I love how open and communicative I am in general. Again, I try to voice my issues or whatever I need to talk about. And then in general, like if I talk to friends, I love how attentive I am. I hope that's the correct word. But how I like thoroughly listen to them. And I think it comes from trauma because I have three sisters, okay? And it's difficult. We were always fighting for like mom's attention, especially because, I mean, if you have 4 daughters and they talk to you constantly, it's hard to remember everything they tell you and who says what. So a lot of the times it's funny because like now I'm talking to my mom and she's like, oh, you told me you want to do this and this. I'm like, no, I didn't. She's like, it was probably one of your sisters. But so I think it kind of like comes from that. But I really, really listen to the person if they're telling me. And I even like emphasize, no. Like I put effort into making them know that I'm listening and that I'm being attentive.
Yeah.
But yeah, with like being open and communicative as well, like I don't mind talking almost about like anything, any topic. And I try to communicate well. Yeah. That's it.
Okay, so another thing I'd say I'm proud of is the like me managing like everything I need to manage. Like me managing to do like work in university and the podcast like at the same time. Sometimes it doesn't go that well. Sometimes it's a bit much and I feel like I'm not able to give 100% to anything. Like that's the frustrating part of it is like sometimes I feel like, well, I'm doing a poor job at all 3 things because I'm trying to balance all 3 things. So like I'm not succeeding. Like I'm putting like 30% into each of them and that sucks because I want to do a good job at all 3. But in general, I feel like, I'm hanging on. I'm doing okay. And I'm proud of myself for like balancing those things because like it takes a lot of time management, it takes a lot of self-discipline, and sometimes it's exhausting, but in general I pull through, except for like small phases where I struggle and everything falls apart. Yeah.
Okay. I am proud of myself for getting out of my comfort zone constantly. My day ad. Because I think for me, I mean, maybe for some people, they don't like it. They don't think it's good for them. But for me, I am who I am because of the challenges I went through and that I put myself into difficult and uncomfortable situations, like studying abroad. But again, I had no idea what's coming. Like, I was just like, this is going to be fun. This is going to be Spain, partying, people, guys, like everything. And I just didn't know. But I mean, I knew it was going to be difficult, but I still, like, difficult things don't scare me in the sense that it makes me not do them.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, for me, I mean, what I wrote down is kind of similar, but like for me, it's like doing things that scare me. So like difficult things do scare me. A lot of things in this world scare me, okay? I get very anxious about things. A lot of things terrify me. But I will never, or like I try very hard to not let that stop me. And I really never want to not do something because it scares me. Like that makes me feel very like bad. And that makes me spiral because I'm like, well, once you start not doing stuff because they scare you, I mean, where does that lead, you know? And I think honestly part of the reason why I kind of like always force myself is because like during high school I had very bad like anxiety. So honestly everything was scaring me, right? Like getting up in the morning was scaring me. So I think through that, I mean this is just my psychoanalysis. Maybe this is very incorrect. I kind of learned to just do things that scare me because if I at that point hadn't been doing things that scare me, I would have just like stayed in my room and that was it.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of taught me to push that, and now like the feeling of anxiety is not really a reason for me to just like quit and not follow through with the plan.
But I think it's with getting outside of your comfort zone, I think everyone just has to find a good balance because sometimes what I do is I put myself into too many, even maybe difficult situations where at some point I'm like, I don't have to do everything.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting about the things I'm already doing. I'm like, I should push myself to do this. I should push myself to do this. And sometimes it's good to be like, okay, Christina, like you can skip this one out.
Yeah.
You don't have to do everything. But honestly, that's a difficult thing in my life is just knowing where the line is with
Honestly,
everything.
same. Yeah.
With everything.
Yeah.
Like that's so difficult because, like, for example, I want to be happy. I want to be content. But sometimes that means you have to make difficult choices and like exclude someone else around you. And so then I'm like, so where's the line? At what point do I put myself first too much and neglect maybe
the whole
other
people pleasing thing?
Yeah. Or at what point am I putting myself through too many hard things?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's very like each case is differently.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
for everyone, for every situation, totally.
Yeah. With the like forcing yourself to do things that scare you, the outcome needs to be worth it too. You know, there needs to be a potential for a really good outcome for you to do it.
And I think it's a lifelong thing. Like there's always going to be things that like we're always going to learn where the line is. Always.
Yeah.
I forgot who was last.
Me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that I know what things I like to do specifically, like hobbies and these little activities, because I feel like especially nowadays it's really important because maybe younger generations, even my little sister, I feel like they don't really have that many like small hobbies. It doesn't have to be doing a sport. Maybe it's just like what I'm seeing around me. Maybe, I don't know, maybe this might not be accurate. Or even a couple of my friends, like they don't, like if they're at home,
Yeah.
and they're not doing anything. They don't have anything like in their timetable or whatever. Like they just don't know what to do. And I feel like that's why a lot of the young people now turn to social media and phones,
Yeah.
like why they're on it so much. Like I feel like my little sister, I mean, I'm not with her
It's
constantly
so
right
funny because you're speaking as if you're 40. You're like the young people today.
now. No.
I feel like you also lose them. Like what happens a lot is you lose them in your teens and you try to like figure out what you enjoyed as a child in your like early 20s.
Yeah. I mean, once again, I feel like studying abroad helped me a lot in this because, as we always say, like in the first year, it was awful. It was hard. And I was home a lot because I didn't have my activities here yet. And so I had to do stuff. And I didn't want to just sit at home and watch movies and series because, I mean, honestly, truthfully, I did that in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like the first maybe 2-3 weeks, a month, I didn't know what to do. And also I was trying to distract myself from the fact that I'm here alone. But then I had to figure out like I'm going to have to spend my time somehow. So I started doing the cotton bracelets, or the ones we did.
Yeah, they're not bracelets.
I was drawing, I was playing ukulele, like whatever I could, and I like that I know. So then like I'm honestly never bored, I guess.
No, I don't understand people who get bored easily.
Because you can always do something. But the issue is that they don't know what to do because they don't have these things. They don't know what they enjoy, maybe.
I guess so.
And maybe, again, it's because we try out so many things.
Yeah.
That then we come across something we like. Or
like,
we
I could also just
like doing
edit
this.
videos. Like, if I had the time, I would be editing so many reels. And I could turn the same footage into 5 different reels.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, that's a good one. Okay, so this one, I wrote it down. And I can feel it in my heart, but I can't explain it. Which is why I literally just wrote down nice.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think I'm a nice person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think I try really hard. Again, maybe too much. But I try very hard to, like, be nice to people, to make them, like, even strangers. Like, obviously, friends and family, you're going to be nice to. Because you love them. I mean, not always. But, no, not always. I didn't mean you don't always love them, but obviously you have moments when you're not nice to your sister. You know what I mean? But I feel like even with, like, strangers, I try to be nice. I try to make them, like, feel good about themselves. And I try to, like, approach people. Like, you need to give me a very good reason for me not to be nice to you. And I feel like that's a good thing. And with that, I don't think I let people walk all over me. Like, I feel like I'm nice, but if you do give me a reason, like, I'll still be nice, but I won't, like, I'll set a limit. Like, I'll be nice and friendly because I'm just, honestly, I can't really be that mean. I don't have it in me, but I won't, like, go out of my way to help you or support you anymore. I guess that's, yeah.
I just thought of one more little thing that I'll just quickly mention is my attention to detail. Like, I feel like it gives me a good advantage. I thought you were going
to say your attention span. And I was like, no, my attention span is bad.
No. Like, attention to detail, because I feel like I notice a lot of, like, little things that maybe other people don't. And then I feel like it gives me advantage of, like, knowing people and knowing what they're thinking and etc.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
But besides that, I have just one more thing on my list that I feel like I always mention everywhere. And it's I love my creative self.
Yeah. That's it?
Yeah.
That's it? Okay.
Do you have anything else?
Well, I have one more, but also this I don't know how to explain. Guys, this episode, why did I come up with this idea? Did I come up with this idea?
I think so.
Okay. So the last one is that I'm really proud of, like, the podcast and that
we should mention that.
Yeah. And that I put myself out there. I feel like in the beginning, I can't breathe, guys. Give me a second. Okay, I'm back. So, what was I saying? Oh, I feel like in the beginning it was very terrifying. Like, posting the first episode to me was scary, and then, like, reposting it on my story, and then
I remember.
Yeah, I was so dramatic about it. And then, like, the first couple of posts, like, we were really, like, I mean, you a little less, but we were like, this needs to be perfect. Like, we were overthinking everything, and I was terrified of like every post like was a little bit nerve-wracking. And now I've gotten to a point where like I don't care. If I like a video, I'll post it. If I have an idea for a post, I'll post it. And like the podcast too, like I really enjoy it. I'm really proud of like I'm proud of the podcast and what we've created with it, but I'm also proud of myself in that like it taught me to not be scared to like put myself out there. And I feel like it even like moved to like my own Instagram. Like I used to barely post there, and now like it doesn't, like I know people who like it really stresses them out to like post photos or stories, and I don't really have that anymore either. I think thanks to the podcast, like I'm just like, well, if I like these pictures, if I want to keep this memory for myself, I'm gonna post it. So that's the last thing I think.
Yeah, honestly, I'm proud of our podcast and what we're doing in general, because we've been doing this for 2 years straight.
Self-discipline. Honestly, with this podcast, I'm very proud of like our consistency.
Me too. And I think that's a great wrap up to this episode. And let's move into the final part. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Book club. Oh goodness gracious!
I wanted to say Song of the Week.
I know.
3, 2, 1. Book
Book
club.
club. So I haven't been reading. I mean, I finished a book that I talked about in the last episode that we had to read for investigative reporting. Wrote the report. Great stuff. Maybe, possibly. Enjoyed that one. Would recommend that. That was The Snow on the Beach, How Cocaine Got to Europe. So highly recommend that. It's an investigative reporting book, but it's written like it reads as easily as fiction does. So I like that. And other than that, I've been reading nothing. I've also not been watching shows. I've been
Me neither.
struggling.
I haven't been reading either, but I'm getting a Kindle for Christmas, and I'm extremely
Today?
excited. Hopefully, I have to check when they're gonna deliver. But I'm really excited because I wanted one for quite some time, and I love the feel of like having books in your hand. I mean, that's my favorite way of reading, but especially with being an international student, it's quite difficult. I mean, I've been doing it up until now. I don't even know how, but I have been moving books around. Like I've been buying books here, then bringing them home. But I think the advantage is that I always, when I have someone inviting me, I always give them a book or two to take home because they're heavy. And so then it's like I couldn't take anything else home. So this is going to make it easier. And you just have access to so many books at once. You can choose which one you're feeling at that moment.
Perfect for a semester abroad.
And I feel like it's also like easier with buying books in the sense like you want a book, but either you don't want to buy it in full price or you just don't want to go to a store. And so, for example, on Amazon, you can buy the Kindle version, the PDF for €3 or something, and then read it. So I think that's good. So I'm excited for that. And hopefully I'll be reading a ton over Christmas. Because you know what? I still have a bunch of books from
of course you do.
No, because I did the whole huge shop of books. I never know what
huge, she means huge. Order.
Okay. But like if you know how in Spanish you say hago una compra. But here, like when you go grocery shopping, like I did a grocery shop, but that's not
true.
Like, you know? Well, whatever.
I don't know.
And there was like sale of books that are in English, which I was really excited about. It was on the website that I always order, like the bookstore, publishing house, whatever. And I read like 1 or 2 of them. I can't remember why.
Well, how many did you order? Let the people know.
I mean, I don't remember exactly, but it might have been like 15 or 13 or something.
Because I feel like some people, if you say I bought a lot of books, they imagine like 5, and we just need to clarify.
I bought a lot. But the thing is, I know I'll have them forever. I can read them whenever. And I do read all my books.
Yeah.
And it's nice because in the past, I would go, like we would share books with my mom a lot. And we would just have like the bookcase in our house. And if I wanted to read something, I went there and picked something up. But I didn't have like my own book library, I guess. And so now I will always have a book to read. Like I will always have a book that I haven't read yet.
That's true.
And it's mine, and I love that, especially since I got the new bookshelf over the summer.
Oh, that's true.
I'm so excited to go home and see my room again. So I have a lot of books there, but that's fine. One day I will go through all of them, and then I'll buy some more. Because for my birthday, I got like vouchers.
Oh.
But I think those ones I can only buy books online, which I've been doing up until now. But I think like the expiry date is like April or something. So I think I have to go and buy more books.
Well,
over the winter.
It's not in your control. You have to.
It's crazy.
I'm surprised you didn't do like some book Black Friday offer.
No, I couldn't. I was thinking about it, but I couldn't. Like I already have. I mean, I don't have that many books here, but I can't. I'm moving. So
sensible.
Yeah.
I love that I'm sorry, I'm looking at her like study plan over there, and she wants to study for exams on Friday.
Why is that?
Don't we have plans like the whole day?
Oh.
I've completely crossed off
Well, I wrote
Friday.
that down before I knew we had plans, because we are doing a Christmas dinner. That's true. Well, I don't
And we're going to the
really know what
Congress.
we're doing. We haven't talked details. We're just doing this secret Santa. I don't know. I'm bringing wine. That's all I know.
And a gift.
And then we're going to the Congress. But that's it, no?
Sure. The thing is, that's true. You wake up at 6. You have a lot of more time.
Well, in between, and it doesn't mean I have to learn everything. Maybe I need to, because for those 2 classes, I don't know how to study, to be honest.
That's okay. All right. So
let's do song of the week.
Yes.
So this week I have a whole album because I was listening to songs on shuffle again yesterday as I was studying, and great songs were coming on, to be honest. And so Fosea's song came on, and
who's that?
I've told you about her a couple of times.
Oops.
She is.
Did you discover her on TikTok?
No.
Oh, well then I really don't know.
I think she's Moroccan Canadian.
Okay.
Or something like that. And I used to listen to her a lot. I think I started listening to her when she had only a couple of songs out. Like when she was starting out. I mean, in the sense of like putting out music, she probably was doing music even before. And I loved her. And I think this is not even an official album. It's called Stripped. And it's her songs, but not necessarily an acoustic version. But like a different version, a stripped version, and I love it. The songs are so good. I mean, she's just amazing in general, but I haven't listened to this in such a long time, and I listened to it yesterday, and it was a masterpiece. But I will mention my favorite song out of the stripped version album, and it's Born Without a Heart. But you really need to listen to the whole thing. It's just a masterpiece.
I will. And for mine, I don't know why I haven't been discovering more music. So I'm going back to one that I rediscovered again, which is True Blue by Boy Genius. Love that song. Think it's perfection. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't have any more to say. Just listen to it. It's great.
I have 2 things to mention that I finished. First is Gilmore Girls. I mean, I am watching The Year in a Life now. I think I'm on the 3rd, which is spring. The 3rd quote-unquote episode. I mean, it's 4 films, basically. And I finished it. I was crying again. But I probably mentioned it because I've mentioned it in a couple of episodes that I'm watching. But now that I finished watching it, it's just, again, like I view it differently than the first time I watched it, probably 8 years ago. Maybe even longer, honestly. That's insane. And the second time I watched it, like 6 years ago. The third time, like 4 years ago, I watched it, I think, like 4 times at least at this point.
I believe it.
And it's just every time it's so different. And I feel like the biggest difference is that every time it gets like less idyllic.
Yeah.
Because like the first time I watched it, I was just, this is great. I love Rory. I love everyone. But like, because I was young, I didn't see in between the lines. And now I do a lot. So that's interesting. And I also finished Neil Gaiman's masterclass because our subscription is ending, I think, today.
Ugh, stuff.
And so I really pulled through once again. And I finished the course because I had like 2 or 3 videos left.
What was it about?
The Art of Storytelling, I think is what it was called. It was about writing because he's a writer. Now I really want to read some of his books because, I mean, you know, because the way he spoke, it was, you can tell it's a writer.
Okay.
Because like when I watched Margaret Atwood's masterclass, it was amazing as well. But she was more, I don't know how to, I wanted to say the word Norma, but not.
Wow.
I don't know how to, like he was way more
Abstract? Philosophical.
like metaphorical, philosophical, which I mean I loved because I loved when they tell you like you just write, you have to write, you can do this, just, you know,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
I don't know. So I enjoyed it. It's nice. I took some notes and now we have no more masterclass.
Yeah, it's
But one day I'll get it again.
I
for
learned
sure,
a couple
'cause
of
it's
things.
amazing.
I will. Maybe
I mean,
after university, you know, like
yeah, I finished 3 courses.
yeah.
And also watched a couple of, it was like masterclass sessions. I don't really understand what that is, about like hair and stuff. I didn't finish it, but I mean, I did a good amount.
Especially like if I ever wouldn't have like the academic side of my life anymore, like if I don't have university, like I do love to always like learn new things. So I feel like then that's great.
And with that, I would watch honestly everything. Like there's a course about cryptocurrencies, and not that I necessarily want to,
but it's
do
good
that,
to know.
but it's good to. I'm interested in knowing about it, like how it works and everything. So one day I'll get it again for sure because I think it's an amazing platform. But now I did it for a year, and one day I'll go back.
For sure.
So that's it for today's episode.
Yeah.
Hope you liked it. You can tell us what you like about yourself in the question that we're gonna put put up with the episode on Spotify. It's gonna be there.
Yeah.
Or as always, you can comment on our photo nums on Instagram. We'll be glad to hear from you, and we'll see you next week.
Or just think about it like for yourself, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode.
If you want to get in touch, you can find all of our information in the description below.